For decades, Sean Combs, known to the world as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, or simply Diddy, stood as a towering figure in both music and business. His influence stretched far beyond the recording studio, shaping the sound, style, and culture of an entire generation. He built Bad Boy Records from the ground up, transforming it into a powerhouse label that launched the careers of icons like the Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige. Under his leadership, Bad Boy became synonymous with chart-topping hits and a new era of hip-hop and R&B. Combs became a cultural force, famous for his signature style, extravagant parties, and relentless ambition. He was everywhere, on magazine covers, at the hottest events, and always at the center of the action. He expanded his empire into fashion with Sean John, revolutionized vodka marketing with Ciroc, and launched Revolt TV to amplify new voices in music and culture. Diddy was never content to stay in one lane. He was always pushing boundaries and redefining what it meant to be a mogul. To many, he was the ultimate entrepreneur, constantly reinventing himself and setting new trends. His business acumen was as legendary as his music, inspiring countless others to dream bigger. His personal life was as public as his career. High-profile relationships, celebrity friends, and a carefully crafted image as a devoted father of 7. The world watched as he balanced fame, family, and fortune. This carefully maintained image made the later allegations against him all the more shocking, sending shockwaves through the industry and his fan base. The contrast between his charismatic public persona and the private accusations was jarring, leaving many to question how well they really knew the man behind the brand. Now, in October 2025, Sean Combs' name is tied not to music, but to a federal courtroom. The world that once celebrated his every move now watches as he faces the gravest challenge of his life. Headlines focus on a criminal trial, a verdict, and a prison sentence. The story has shifted from platinum records to legal battles and public scrutiny. The man who once seemed untouchable is now facing a public reckoning, his legacy hanging in the balance as the world debates his fate. The glamour has faded, replaced by disturbing allegations and a sense of uncertainty about what comes next for one of entertainment's biggest names. This case has become a pivotal moment, forcing a conversation about power, abuse, and accountability in the entertainment industry. It's a reckoning not just for Diddy, but for the entire culture he helped shape. The world is watching as the truth comes to light, and the story of Sean Combs enters a new, uncertain chapter. Sean Combs' legal troubles escalated when federal prosecutors charged him with running his empire as a criminal enterprise, racketeering. The government alleged he used his companies to control and exploit women, especially through sex trafficking. Central to the case were claims that Combs trafficked multiple women, including Cassie Ventura, transporting them across state lines for commercial sex acts. Prosecutors described freak-offs, multi-day sex parties involving coercion and fear. The case spanned over a decade, with evidence including financial records and communications. The glamorous world he built, prosecutors argued, hid a pattern of exploitation. These charges shocked the public and forced a re-examination of his legacy. The trial became a focal point for conversations about power and abuse in the industry. The jury had to decide, was Combs a charismatic mogul or the leader of a criminal operation? After 8 intense weeks of testimony, cross-examinations, and emotional witness accounts, the trial finally reached its dramatic conclusion. On July 2, 2025, the jury returned to the packed courtroom to deliver its highly anticipated verdict, as the nation watched closely. In a stunning and unexpected outcome, Combs was acquitted of the most serious charges, racketeering and sex trafficking, charges that had dominated headlines and fueled public debate for months. However, the jury did not clear him of all wrongdoing. He was found guilty on 2 lesser, but still significant counts: transporting women across state lines for prostitution, involving Cassie Ventura and another woman, both of whom had testified in detail about their experiences. The mixed verdict sent shockwaves through the public, leaving many divided and sparking heated discussions both inside and outside the courthouse. For Combs and his defense team, the acquittals on the top charges were seen as a major victory, a relief after weeks of uncertainty. But the convictions on the lesser counts confirmed that the jury believed some criminal conduct had occurred. For the women who testified, the jury's decision was a partial validation of their stories, an acknowledgement that their voices had been heard, even if not all their allegations resulted in convictions. In the aftermath, Combs's lawyers quickly requested bail, arguing that the acquittals on the most serious charges justified his release while awaiting sentencing. But the judge, referencing the defense's own admission of domestic violence during the trial, denied the request, citing concerns for public safety and the seriousness of the remaining convictions. As a result, Combs was ordered to remain in jail until his sentencing hearing, his fate now hanging in the balance. The reckoning was far from over, and the case continued to grip the nation as everyone awaited the next chapter in this high-profile legal battle. Cassie Ventura's testimony was the trial's turning point. 9 months pregnant, she described a decade of abuse, beginning when she was just 19. She recounted violence, threats, drugs, and being forced into freak-offs with male sex workers. Evidence included photos of her injuries and a leaked 2016 video showing Combs assaulting her in a hotel hallway. Ventura spoke of the devastating impact, physical injuries, addiction, and suicidal thoughts. Even after leaving, she feared for her family's safety. Her courage in testifying while pregnant and reliving trauma put a human face on the allegations. Her voice forced the world to confront the brutal reality behind the headlines. The prosecution painted Combs as a criminal mastermind, using fame to control and abuse women. Witnesses described a culture of fear, and prosecutors focused on sex trafficking, presenting travel records and texts as evidence. They argued the freak-offs were coerced, not consensual. In closing, they urged the jury to look past celebrity and see a pattern of predatory behavior. The defense, led by Mark Agnifilo, countered that the government had overreached, turning a troubled personal life into a federal case. They questioned witness credibility and argued the relationships were dysfunctional but consensual. In a bold move, the defense admitted to domestic violence, conceding what was undeniable. They argued Combs was guilty of assault, not racketeering or trafficking. The strategy acknowledged flaws, deny criminal enterprise. The jury had to weigh celebrity against accountability. Before sentencing, Cassie Ventura submitted a powerful victim impact statement. She described a decade of abuse and the lasting scars, physical, emotional, and psychological. Ventura urged the judge to impose a sentence reflecting the true gravity of Combs's actions, expressing disappointment with the jury's partial acquittal. She detailed living in constant fear, even after leaving, and the ongoing struggle with trauma. Her letter was a plea for accountability, warning against leniency for powerful abusers. Ventura's words ensured her experience was central to the judge's decision. Her statement was a call for justice beyond the verdict. In October 2025, Sean Combs returned to court for sentencing. Prosecutors demanded over 11 years in prison. The defense argued for time served. The judge delivered a middle-ground sentence, 50 months, just over 4 years, in federal prison, plus a $500,000 fine. Combs also received 5 years of supervised release after prison. The judge credited him for time already served. The sentence was a clear message. While acquitted of the most serious charges, Combs's crimes warranted real punishment. The legal battle was over, but the consequences would last. The entertainment world had changed. Justice, in some form, had been served. The saga began in November 2023, when Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit alleging years of abuse. The suit was settled quickly, but it opened the floodgates for public scrutiny and further investigation. A leaked 2016 video showing Combs assaulting Ventura became undeniable evidence, sparking outrage and pressure on law enforcement. Combs was arrested in September 2024, shifting the case from civil to criminal. The trial began in spring 2025, with Ventura's testimony at its heart. After 8 weeks, the jury convicted Combs on 2 counts, acquitting him of the most serious charges. He remained in custody, denied bail. The October sentencing marked the end of a dramatic fall from grace. The verdict and sentence in this case will echo far beyond Sean Combs's personal life or career. This is not just a story about one man, but a moment that will ripple through our culture, our conversations, and our sense of justice. His reputation and business empire, once seen as untouchable, are now in ruins. His future is clouded with uncertainty. The consequences extend to everyone who once stood by him, and to the industries that profited from his success. For survivors everywhere, Cassie Ventura's courage is a beacon, showing that it's possible to challenge even the most powerful figures. Her decision to speak out has inspired others to find their own voices and to believe that change is possible. The case exposed the immense challenges survivors face, from public scrutiny to personal risk, and the profound impact of speaking out. It's a reminder of the strength required to come forward and the importance of support systems. It forced the entertainment industry to confront uncomfortable truths about abuse, power, and the myth of untouchable icons. The ripple effects are being felt in boardrooms, studios, and on red carpets everywhere. While the acquittals disappointed some, the convictions sent a clear message. No one is above the law, regardless of fame or fortune. Justice, though imperfect, was served in the eyes of many. The trial may inspire more victims to come forward and spark greater scrutiny of those in positions of power. It's a call to action for society to listen, believe, and protect those who risk everything to tell their stories. Ultimately, this is a story about power, justice, and the courage to speak the truth, even when it's difficult. It's about the collective responsibility we share to create a safer, more accountable world. The lessons from this case will shape conversations about celebrity, accountability, and healing for years to come. It challenges us to reflect on our values and the systems we uphold. The world is left to reckon with the cost of silence and the power of one voice to spark change, inspire hope, and demand justice for all.